Hello all, we are here for a new lesson of this AutoCAD 2016 training course, and this lesson is called cursor modes. This topic is very important to work and understand AutoCAD because is how the program interacts with the user, and it is important to know the different modes the cursor presents to the user so that you can know what is expecting. We can make a little parallel to the command window that aids with messages. In the same way, cursor gives you clues about what to do in the software. So this is for you, for your understanding of the importance of these cursor modes. And we can start with the standard cursor, which is the one that you are seeing on the screen, this cross with a little square in the middle. And this cursor tells you that AutoCAD is waiting for instructions, so nothing is happening. We have a different mode that is called point selection cursor, and basically if we go, for example, with the line command, the cursor changes to a cross, the little square in the middle disappears, and this cursor mode appears whenever AutoCAD expects a point input from the user. There are other ways it can appear, but basically I can tell you that this is a point input mode. Besides this one, we have another mode that is called cursor with badge. To show you that one, I will make now a line, and I will go to a command that is called erase. And this erase, we have this kind of look when we cross over an object. So the cursor changes and shows us this little red cross. There are several badges in several commands also. If you are interested in seeing all the possibilities with this badge, I think it's good for you to see our theoretical lesson. But I will show you one or two more. For example, if we go to another command, and all these commands again, we will see them later, but just to show you now the cursor with badge. For example, the move cursor, the move command, when we choose one entity, sorry, did not. And now, when we move, you see that the cursor has a different look with a different kind of icon. For example, if we go to another one that is called the measure, you see that the cursor gets a question mark also, and it is a different look. So you have 9 or 10 different commands that all of them have different badges, okay? And basically this cursor with a badge lets you know that which tool you are using at this moment. So it's something that helps you to realize what is happening at that moment. There is another different cursor, for example, that you've seen already when kind of command, basically these commands of this panel modify. For example, the erase again, and you see that you'll get a small square, and this is the object selection or pick box cursor that appears on the screen every time you are asked to select objects, okay? So this is a different look. Besides, we have also other shapes of the cursor, for example, and I'll go to line again. I will use a functionality that is called the OSNAP, and to invoke this OSNAP I will click on the Shift key of my keyboard and my right mouse button, and I get this menu. These are called OSNAP functions. We will see them also later, and I will use, for example, one of the entities, midpoint, and now you see that the cursor show me something that is midpoint of the entities. But I could have different looks instead of just one. If I go, you see, if I go to the end point, I get a square. If I go to the midpoint, I get a triangle. I don't have any more activated, but I can have different symbols for intersection, center, and a lot of different remark points on the entities. And this is called the OSNAP marker, and this is a different look for the cursor. I have another one that is called also the tracking vector cursor, and this is something like, if I go here and click, you see that I have some definitions that I will not show you at this moment, but you see that the cursor can have this kind of vector that is called a tracking vector, with some important angles defined by the user, and this is another possibility that you have with your cursor. And besides that, you have another one that is called polar tracking, that is a little similar to this one. I will not show in particular because it may confuse you now, but it has to do with this functionality also of the vectors with remark angles that may appear in your screen. Okay, these are the different looks. I'd like to show you one last thing that I will activate in my options. So right click with the mouse here and choose the options. A dialog box will appear, and I will go to this tab, display, and I have this configuration here, the crosshair size. Now I have 5%, but if I go and push it to 100, okay, now I have this kind of cursor, a little different from what I had as a standard, and this is a old style cursor, like in the early versions of the software. Okay, some guys may like to work like this. It's a question of definition for each user. So I hope to see you in our next lesson. For now, we are over with these cursor modes.